Hello and welcome. I'm John McFarland. This is Dysfunctional Dialogue, and I got with me Jeff Candy and Tim Wright. Guys, welcome to the program. All right. So either one of you, if you were to pick one day, see, these are my college buddies, right? Just to be clear, you know, we go way back. We've been staying friends all these years, despite all the hell that we've endured from each other. If you were to pick one day from college to go back to, what are you picking right now? What just popped into your head? Something just popped into your head. Bullshit. You guys dismissed. You didn't want to say the first thing.
Go ahead, Jeff. You go ahead first.
I don't know.
Come on, there's so many things. And you know what? It doesn't have to be the number one thing. Just pick one thing. What the hell was that?
No, this is an interesting question. In fact, I was going to say, instead of one day, let's start off by saying, well, maybe this doesn't apply. What year would you want to relive in your life? What year? But then if you're just isolating it to college, I'd have to go back to Ray's castaway party. I mean, I thought that night lasted forever, and it was just a lot of fun.
That was ridiculous. Yeah, we talked about this, I think, on the last cast, but
we did.
That was so Castaway, right?
Ray
had a cast on his arm,
right? Yeah.
And we thought, hey, that could be fun. We'll have a castaway party. But that was a lot happened that night. That was a night where one individual got high and got paranoid and called his mommy. That was that night. I'm pretty sure that was that night.
A lot happened that night.
Yeah.
Later on.
And then of course there was the cake fight.
The cake fight.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the mess down McHugh's afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there for the cake fight, but man, that was a great sloppy night for me too.
I'll have to ask Ray what year. Jeff, that had to be 87 as well then, right?
That had to be 87. We were
just 87 was a win.
It was our first semester in the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just destroyed it right from the beginning.
It was. Yeah, it fell through the closet doors. That had to be October, November, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had just left you guys. We had a big party. We were having a lot of fun. And I had just left you guys to hop in a cab. And you guys were supposed to hop in a cab right after. But you guys got caught up with something. And that was being in the kitchen with the cake. And next thing you know, it wasn't just a cake fight. You guys were pulling everything out. You were like, it was oil.
Yes.
And there were just...
I remember Brian screaming because he got mayonnaise in his eyes.
Mayonnaise? Did you really? I didn't realize that mayonnaise was an OSHA problem.
Yeah.
You don't want it in your eyes, evidently.
Well, ironically enough, that's so funny because that was also the night that we, at the very end of the night, so after these guys had their cake fight, they were all over the place. They were falling on the floor, just slapping each other with all this food and stuff, anything they could find in their apartment. When you guys came down to the bar, came down to McHugh's, you were covered in this stuff. And I mentioned previously, I remember taking Brian's hair and making spikes out of all the mayonnaise and the cake and stuff, taking his hair and spiking it up.
It was buttercream frosting. It was good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it worked great.
I did not lick his head.
Oh, I tasted it. You couldn't not taste it. I mean, it was all over.
But after all of that transpired, and we had a sloppy night at McHugh's as well. I mean, it was terribly sloppy and so much fun. We ended up going back to that same apartment. Brian passed out on the chair, and we drew eyeballs with whiteout and marker on his passed out eyelids. So it looked kind of like he was staring at you while he was passed out. I mean, and we took a picture of that.
It was a long night. It was a long
night. A lot happened that night.
Yeah.
And didn't he go back to Clay Hall or where Jen lived, whatever hall she lived in?
It was Clay.
He didn't realize that he had it on his eyes. That she told him that his eyes were painted.
Oh, probably. That's so funny. Yeah. All right. So that's a good one. Jeff, you have an idea?
St. Patty's Days were a blast every year.
True. Again, the duration, because they start at 7 a.m., they go to 3 a.m. So, I remember with some school in between. Yeah.
Brian and I did the whole thing. Freshman year,
Yeah.
7 to 2 in the
7 to 3.
morning.
7 to 2. Yeah.
That's just so disgusting. I don't remember ever going that late on a St. Patrick's Day. I don't think I was ever
Of
built
course, you're
for that.
coming off of your birthday too. Just doesn't help. That
No.
could influence
Yes.
it. Yeah.
No, help, hurt. I don't know. All I
Yeah.
know is
Right. Right.
I don't know if I was ever built for that. What popped into my head was the first time going into McHugh's. It's our first time going, and there was a on campus. It was like a freshman sort of a get together. I think everyone was up there. All the other classes, the sophomore, seniors, juniors were already up there. But the freshmen had this gathering, and it was called a pajama party in the gymnasium. And so you show up there in pajamas, and of course Brian was dressed the same way he was dressed when he met my parents for the first time,
Right.
and that was in a robe, shorts,
Right.
and like work boots, construction boots, Timberlands.
Yeah.
And we walked down to McHugh's from the university, which is a pretty good walk.
Yeah.
And I almost want to say Brian might not even have had the Timberlands on. He might have been barefoot for that matter. But in any case, we're on this long line to get into the bar, and this guy that we went to high school with that I didn't know, but Brian knew pretty good, he was bouncing at the bar.
Yeah.
This guy, Vinny, and he saw Brian all the way in the back.
Sure. Yeah.
And he goes, guys, come here.
Yeah.
And we ended up, it was like probably the line went all the way out the door, down the stairs, and probably a good 20 feet. It was a long line. And we went right by everybody. And he goes, guys, come here. And I don't know if you remember, but freshman year, there was a barber chair for doing shots in the back of that bar for a period of time. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Never sat in it, but I do remember it.
I don't remember it.
That was our Brian and my introduction to McHugh's. He brought us in, brought us right to the back of the bar, and leaned us in, and we did shots. Just poured the 2 bottles down our gullet.
Yeah.
Like welcome to college, guys.
Right.
And man, that was a great way to start, man. Holy moly, did we we didn't let that stop.
Right.
As dictated by our cumulatives at the end of that year, and Brian may be asked to step away for a little bit, and me hanging on by my skin of my teeth.
Yeah, he left you. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to telling this story. So when Brian and I had our first, maybe I should wait until he's on with me, but maybe not. We were in our first room together, and it was right next door to the resident assistant, and that guy just, man, he hated us so much. He had a really good attitude with us and all, but we were so loud and so obnoxious. I feel terrible for him kind of now, being an old person, right?
Right.
But in that moment, didn't think anything of it, unfortunately for him. This one night, that aside, we get back, and Jeff, your roommate was with us. In fact, you were probably with us too, but you had already gone to your room. But your roommate Rick was with us.
Nervous Rick.
Nervous
Rick. Yeah.
The nervous Rick. Yeah. And we get back to our room, and Brian's like, I'm gonna make some popcorn. We have one of those air poppers, right? So the air popper, for you guys who don't know, it's an electric. You plug it in, you put the kernels in. And it's about, like this big, and there's a little tube that comes up on top, little lid, and it comes down. And Brian had half of a beer ball. So a beer ball was like, what, an eighth of a keg, of a keg or something like that. And he sliced it in half, and he had this nice golden ball he would use for his popcorn. And I left Brian there unattended as I brought Rick back, because Rick was really smashed. Brian was too, but it's Brian, you figure Brian's a machine, he can handle it.
Right.
So I make sure Rick got back to his room, and I come back, and all hell was breaking loose. I look in there, and the lid had popped off the popcorn thing, and popcorn was flying up in the air, and Brian's there with the bowl trying to catch the popcorn as it's coming out of the bowl. Kernels are flying. He's like, oh, there's one. And he's catching these things. And meanwhile, it's all going all over the floor. And finally the popcorn popper stops, and I'm just looking at it like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? What a mess. This is ridiculous.
Wow.
So he gets down, he's scooping up all the popcorn on the floor, and he had his prize. He's like, I got it. He
Right.
had his prize.
Right.
He
Yeah.
walked out into the hallway and he put the popcorn on the ground. And the head rush from putting it on the ground to standing back up again was all it took, because he went down like a board. Boom!
Shit.
Passed out cold
No
on the
shit.
floor. He
Yeah.
bounced off. It was he probably was concussed, unfortunately, in retrospect.
Right.
But I'm telling you, he fell like this. No bend in the knees or anything. It was like a
Wow.
board
Yeah.
just falling over.
Huh.
So he's lying there. I'm like, and here I am with this dead weight in the
Yeah.
middle of the hallway, and the sight of all this popcorn everywhere and him snoring right from the moment he hit the ground.
Oh shit.
And like, I got to share this with someone, so I grabbed Eric from next door, and I'm wailing on his door. Eric, you got to see this. Meanwhile, Eric's been asleep for like 3 hours probably at this point.
Right.
And Eric comes out and like, well, let's have a little fun with this. So we decide to play a game to see which one of us could get Brian's snore to shoot up the popcorn high. So Brian is lying there snoring. We're putting popcorn here, and it's coming off like 4 inches, 6 inches off. Like, yeah, I won. Then you go. Yeah, that was something else. I have no idea how we got him back in the room or whatever. We just put a blanket on him at that moment. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, man, seeing him trying to catch that popcorn and then just seeing him going down like a board, all within,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of each other, was just
Right.
really quite the sight to behold.
Right.
I might go back to
Remember-
that day.
We had, remember Tim and
Watch
I,
it again.
sophomore year, we did that with the popcorn and we never cleaned it up.
Never.
You'd have to get up in the morning with a towel and brush it like this so you could walk out.
Was that when we put the popcorn through the fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably.
We had
So,
gotten
well,
that giant bag of popcorn that
well,
we
we borrowed
borrowed.
the popcorn. Yeah, we borrowed the popcorn and borrowed the fan and the calculator from one of the dean's offices, or
Yeah.
one of the offices, not dean necessarily, but underneath Gallagher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
underneath Gallagher, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of
Yeah, that was
climbed in
the-
through that window and fed the stuff back out. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That
it
was
was like a construction bag filled
Oh, it
with
was huge.
popcorn.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we could
It was
we
for
could
a
do something.
basketball game. It was probably there to refill for basketball games. You know,
Yes.
Yes.
to feed 5,000.
And I think we also borrow that fan too. I don't
We
think
did.
that fan was in your room,
Yeah.
right? So we
No.
literally
Yeah.
had these two things. We're like, well, what can we do with this?
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, the answer was to feed the popcorn through the fan on high. So it goes flying out all
That
over
was
the room.
fun. That was
It was on
that
our
was-
floor for quite a while.
that was a good science experiment. Yeah.
I love that the popcorn just sat there. That was like mine and Brian's room freshman year, where we had stacks and stacks and stacks of bottles, a lot of like no brand beer that just sat in our corner. And like 2 months in, we start looking at these things and we had like major things growing inside these
Yeah.
bottles. And we're sleeping in this environment and living there. It was so disgusting. Good
Well,
times.
I do recall Brian sitting, you can picture this, sitting there with that calculator, and he just kept hitting return. I mean, not once or twice, then you're bored with it, but just doing it. And the thing had a tape that would keep spitting it out. And this tape was, I don't know, 4 feet long, but he just hit. And then
It prints in
finally
red.
He did something where it was a negative number and it printed in red. That made his night. Now it prints in red. And he just
Yeah, he looked up with this absolute dumbfounded look on his face.
he just discovered something.
Yes, it prints in red. Like he discovered the color.
But, a typical person would get bored after a few minutes with that.
Yeah,
It really
that entertained him for a while.
it kept his attention for a long time.
Yeah.
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 At least while we were spraying the popcorn around, imagine if somebody was to walk by and look in that room like, what are you thinking? You got some guy over there printing nothing. We're feeding popcorn through a fan. Crazy.
Hey, do you guys remember any practical jokes that were played on people in the dorm?
Recall?
Yeah.
Well,
do you recall any?
Eric helped out getting the letterhead from Dean Kimmel's office I
That was
thought that
huge.
Jeff, I don't know if you recall if that was a April Fool's joke or not. Too bad Bill wasn't here to appreciate it. But that's when we had a letter sent to
Yes.
Bill's dorm room
Yeah.
and told him that he's getting a
He's
roommate.
getting a
That was right
roommate.
up there with a great day.
Yes.
We let it go to about 5 p.m. and then told him he was. That was such a great night.
He's
Oh,
getting a
great day.
roommate that was a
Yeah,
smoker.
because he thought he was getting. We got to frame it out though, right?
That's
So
your
we got to
job.
let.
We tee it up. You
That's
gotta-
my job. You guys just keep me going. Yeah, and we may have discussed this already, but who gives a shit? But Bill
think we
had
did.
gotten
I
a
think so.
letter that looked like it came from the dean of housing. He thought he was going to have his own room because his previous roommate had left, and then came to find out that reading this letter that he was going to have a smoker as a roommate.
Heavy smoker. That's right.
A heavy smoker. It had to be a heavy smoker, right? And Bill was beside himself. He was so pissed off.
It ruined his day.
Yeah, the joy.
And we made sure it was all day.
That was a
That's
good
great.
day. That was a great day.
That was a good day for everyone on the planet except for Bill.
Oh, he was so relieved after I think we were having dinner or something. I thought that's when we finally said, Bill, that was a joke. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but the joke was on him because he ended up getting Chris.
That's true. Yeah. He did.
Way
He did.
worse. Way worse than a
Way
heavy
worse.
smoker.
He'd take the smoker any day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. You heard that.